Welcome to the Money Hour with host Tina Mitchell. Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, is a licensed loan originator with Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited, NMLS 134871. The views expressed by the speakers on the following program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited, nor are they necessarily endorsed by Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited. Now, in the studio, local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome to the Money Hour at 11:50 a.m. KKNW, the Saturday, April 30th show. You can also listen to my podcast, Facebook premiere, or you can catch my show on the show YouTube channel. In addition, for more information on upcoming events, you can go to tinamitchellevents.com. I am your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, bringing in expert advice and inside knowledge on today's events and how they can affect your money. If you are hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. I'm here to answer any questions or, more importantly, to put you in contact with the guests that I have on the show today. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or you can go online to themoneyhour.com. And now for the lineup for today's show. Today, I will be having a panel conversation with my three guests. Today's show is about the power of having a strong power team and how working together to support your clients is a win-win. I have Leslie McFadden of Leslie McFadden Real Estate, strategies and negotiation tips when buying in this current market. I also have Tania McLaughlin of McLaughlin and Associates American Family Insurance. Insure carefully and dream fearlessly. And I also have the only guy on the show today, outside of my producer over at Hubbard Radio, we have Nathan Kelly of PureClean Carpet Cleaning and PureDry Restoration. When disaster strikes, we've got your back. Also, if you're watching my show on our Facebook premiere or YouTube channel, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to two very important people behind the scenes of the show. My producer over at Hubbard Radio, Benny.
Hi, Tina. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, as I do each and every week. And my marketing director, Becky.
Hi, Tina. Thank you for the shout out.
Absolutely. Definitely could not do it without both of them. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, and without the support of Benny and Becky, the show would not be here today. Great information and great guests in studio. For more information on any topics discussed, please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And now let's go ahead and start out the show as I do each week with a little bit of money chat.
Money.
Tina Mitchell here with your money chat. Initial job claims, which measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the first time, decreased from 5,000 to 185,000. Continued claims, which are those that continue to receive benefits after their initial claim, decreased 1,000 to 1.4 million. This is the lowest number on continuing claims since February of 1970. Unemployment claims are extremely low and the labor market remains tight. The unemployment rate is near the pre-COVID low at 3.6% versus 3.5%. But once we start to see the rate increase, it's another early warning signal of a slowdown and a recession to come. Housing bubble fears, same old story that I've been bringing into Money Chat quite a few weeks. Pending home sales, which measures signed contracts on existing homes, fell 1.2% in March, which was stronger than the 1.8% decline expected. Sales are now down 8.2% year over year. There is no doubt that higher interest rates are impacting demand, but this is still very strong considering the increase in prices and the lack of inventory. The media said that this was a washout. but it was only down 1.2% in the face of all of the challenges and better than expectations. A longer time frame view of signed contracts shows that the level of sales is still a strong level, but off the crazy highs that we set after the dip in COVID and the rush to purchase. Redfin released a report stating that homebuyer competition dropped for the first time in 6 months because of the surge in mortgage interest rates and home prices. But they went on to state that most homebuyers are still incurring bidding wars, but competition is beginning to cool a bit. I believe now is the best time to buy. There is a hidden opportunity here. The reason is a temporary slowdown in the buyer frenzy. Some buyers have backed out of the market because of the shock in the increase of interest rates, not because they can't afford to buy, but because of the shock factor. The buyer traffic has slowed down a bit, so the crazy multiple offers have also eased up a bit. This is temporary because when the new rates become the new norm, the shock value will wear off and buyers will be back flooding the market. Buy now while buyer traffic is down. Now, there are 407,000 homes for sale at the end of March nationwide, which is up 33% from last year. But of those $407,000 homes, only 35,000 or 9% are actually completed. The rest are either not started or under construction. There is a 6.3 month supply, but when you factor in the homes that you can't move into, it's a half a month of inventory. Where do you go with inflation? The Fed will likely be hiking 50 basis points at May, June, and July meetings. There will also be a meeting in September where they will most likely increase another 50 basis points. After the Fed hike starts to slow down, the economy will take hold. This should also help the U.S. reduce inflation. Overall, I feel that the inflation and the interest rates in turn should start to move lower in October and through the end of the year. Now, there is also a strong chance that the recession is on the horizon, which always causes interest rates to drop sharply. If we look at the history of government spending, 40% of the money printed in the history has been in the last 24 months. That money flowed into rates, stock market, and everything else. We have been running on stimulus money. The recession is coming, and it may be a big one. But a recession is not the same as a depression, which can last for years. Once a recession passes, economic expansion begins again. A recession is a period of temporary economic decline. Now, history of recession, mortgage interest rates decline, and people that own real estate favor well. Mortgage interest rates go down because they are based on the Fannie Mae 30-year bond and how it's trading. When the bond market drops in trading price, mortgage rates increase. When the bond markets increase in trading price, mortgage rates go down. During a recession, investors are putting their money in the bond market as it's a safer place for their money to sit. The return is lower, but the risk is lower. The volatility of the stock market during a recession is not worth the risk for most investors. So why not wait until interest rates go down? The reason why is appreciation. As you wait, you are missing out on appreciation. If you lock in at the high interest rate, you can refinance when the rates go down, but you've locked in that appreciation gain. If you wait, you would have the same interest rates that if you just bought and refinanced. However, you lost that appreciation. And you don't want to not own real estate during a recession. The reason is the same as with an inflation. Real estate is one of the only investments that you have to hedge against inflation. Inflation simply puts that increased cost for goods and services. What cost you $100 yesterday may cost you $105 today to purchase. The value of the dollar is worth less, so that there are more dollars to purchase those same goods and services. Homeowners benefit from inflation because the money that they pay back, their fixed rate mortgage, it is worth less today than it was yesterday, but it's fixed. Everything else is costing you more, but your mortgage, because it's a fixed rate, the higher inflation rate is the sooner that your home will value double value based on the rule of 72. Home prices rise in inflation because as the value of the dollar is worth less due to the higher inflation, it will take more dollars to purchase that same property. Real estate has traditionally worked well as an inflation hedge. Do not miss the hidden opportunity to buy now. And if you don't own real estate, get in now so you have something to hedge against inflation. Tina Mitchell, and that is your Money Chat. Coming up next in the Money Hour, my panel conversation with Leslie McFadden of Leslie McFadden Real Estate, strategies and negotiation tips when buying in the current market. Also, Tania McLaughlin of McLaughlin and Associates American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. And Nathan Kelly of PureClean carpet cleaning and PureDry restoration. When disaster strikes, we've got your back. Right here on 1150 AM KKNW. You are listening to the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, April 30th show. You can also listen to my podcast, Facebook premiere, or you can catch my show on my show YouTube channel. In addition, for more information on my upcoming events, please go to TinaMitchellEvents.com. I am your host and your local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. It is a great day to talk about money, and that is what the show is all about: how to make money, save money, so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you are hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. I'm here to answer any questions or connect you with the guests that I have on the show today. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com. And now on the show, my panel conversation with Leslie McFadden of Leslie McFadden Real Estate, strategies and negotiation tips when buying in the current market. Tania McLaughlin of McLaughlin and Associates American Family Insurance, insure carefully, dream fearlessly. And Nathan Kelly of PureClean carpet cleaning and PureDry restoration. When disaster strikes, we've got your back, right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Now, today's show is about the power of having a strong power team and how working together to support your clients is a win-win. Welcome, Leslie. Oh, you're on mute, Leslie.
I forgot to unmute myself. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so excited to have you. And Tania, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And Nathan.
Hey, thanks for including the one guy too.
I know it's three girls and a guy. Get it? Not three girls and a baby, but three girls and a guy. Hopefully anyone listening is laughing at my joke. So I'm really excited for this because obviously I'm part of the power team here as well. We do a lot of business together, not only support each other, but more importantly, we're supporting our clients by having a strong power team where they have everyone that they need in that power team to have a successful process. And with that, as we build a relationship, we have trust and confidence in each other's services. Obviously, that's portrayed to the clients that we serve as well. Now, I want to have an opportunity here to read each of your credentials and bios. So first with Leslie. Leslie is a local realtor with 17 years experience under her belt. Prior to real estate career, she served as a logistics specialist in the U.S. Army. Thank you for your service, Leslie. And as a project designer in corporate interior designs and sales. She identified early on delivering dedicated personalized customer service was her gift. She also believed that the sense of security and contentment in life and virtually important. And she became a realtor to help her clients obtain these things for themselves and for their families. One thing that sets Leslie apart from other agents is the industry is her certification for negotiation. Very important right now in the seller's market. There is never a doubt in her client's mind that Leslie fought for the best outcome possible. Leslie enjoys supporting North Shore communities and is an active member of the Bothell, Kenmore, and Woodinville Chamber of Commerce. Leslie and her husband, Kevin, occasionally retreat to their beautiful cottage, which I have visited, on Anderson Island in the South Sound to bike, hike, and enjoy the Pacific Northwest lifestyle. Now, a little bit about Tania. Tania is a licensed insurance professional who uses insurance expertise to guide clients safely through the toughest moments of their lives. What makes her relevant? A defining moment when she used her knowledge to cause an overturn in incorrect claim decision, allowing her customers to rebuild their home. Her proactive advice about insurance covers limits directly translates to paid claims and life saves from financial ruin. She has consulted insurance agents across Washington state, led change in with her company, and has amassed awards of customer satisfaction and retention due to her long-term vision for her clients. Here to discuss why insurance requires navigation by a trained professional to keep you protected over time with Tania. And then last and surely not last or least is Nathan. Nathan has been in the construction industry for over 10 years, but has loved working with people his entire life. Nathan is proud to be part of a wonderful team of professionals who care so deeply for people. Not only are they experts in mitigation, water, fire, smoke, sewer, and mold damage, and constantly provide the most thorough cleaning available for carpet, tile, grout, upholstery, area rugs, and air ducts. They are committed to serving their clients and community at the highest level. Nathan and his team are always here to help their clients and to help the community. All right, so really excited to get into our panel conversation. And Leslie, I'd like to go ahead and start out with you. Okay. Your tagline is your resource and resource in real estate. What does that mean to you? What was that?
I said, that's easy to say.
It's easy to say. I'm putting all my words together. So what does it mean to you and your clients to be your resource in real estate?
Well, thank you so much for asking. Actually, today I'm excited to be on the show with two of my very strong referral partners. Tania McLaughlin is my personal insurance agent. Thank you. And I definitely use Nathan Kelly's PureClean carpet cleaning services all the time. And they are just two of my many vetted professionals that I include on my resource list to my clients so that my clients don't have to worry about finding their own contractors.
So Tania, what is insurance truly meant to do?
I get this question a lot, so thank you. Simply put, pay for an unexpected disaster so that you don't have to. We're weathering an exceptionally tough economic time in our history. That means we're talking about the state of people's personal finances, their sense of security, ability to provide themselves with shelter and adequate food. It's no small topic. So data showing that weather events are becoming more severe. For us in Washington, we've been protected, but now we are exposed to floods, wildfires on top of our windstorms and our threat of a major earthquake. There are two ways you can prepare for those events. Have enough money in your savings account to rebuild your home, or buy a proper insurance policy. I recommend letting the insurance company pay so that you don't have to.
Yeah, definitely. I think everybody would rather have insurance take care of it so you're not digging into your savings, and most don't have enough savings that are going to take care of that. And yeah, there's been a lot of changes in the insurance space with changing how they're rating clients or not rating clients, and really having somebody that can navigate you through that process, and also that's a broker that's brokering with multiple insurance companies, because every insurance company has something else something specific they might specialize in, but you may not be that specialized client for that. And they may have higher premiums because they've put resources in other unique situations. So having a broker and the expertise and somebody knowledgeable like Tania is critically important to make sure that you're getting the best possible coverage at the lowest and most reasonable cost, right?
Absolutely.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Tina.
Yeah.
Yes. Commercials more often. Yeah.
You can tell that I'm a power partner for Tania because I know exactly what she tells our clients.
Awesome.
And I see it all in action, because behind the scenes, not even part of the insurance business, but on the mortgage side, you see lots of nightmares. And actually just recently, Leslie and I had a client that Tania came in, they were going with a different insurance company for whatever reason. And and they came in and at the last minute, we really couldn't do something for their particular property. And it's like, this is the time we really, they need to work with Tania because she brokers and she came in and saved that deal, that whole thing could have fallen apart because they couldn't get the proper insurance to meet the lending guidelines. So Tania, thank you for being a part of my team. Well, to each of you. So Nathan, can you share how you work closely with Tania and Leslie to best serve all of our clients?
Of course. I mean, so I'm the business development director here at PureClean and at PureDry Restoration. So the whole purpose of me is to find the right people to team up with to help all of us win together. So whether it's our internal team, our clients, our referral partners, we're always looking for ways to win, but to win together, not at the expense of somebody else, but finding ways to serve and finding ways to help each of our partners serve their clients even better. I mean, we operate internally from a strong foundation of core values. The very first sentence of the very first core value is relationships are the most important thing in life. Yeah. And so, you know, Leslie and Tania are just good people. They do things for the right reasons. And that's who we want to help succeed, are those people who are serving people on the highest level and doing what we can to make them look even better.
Yeah, well said. And this is just a part of our power team in this space. Bringing 3 in at one time was a great conversation piece for you listening to the show. But our power team extends more than just these businesses. Point being is we've all developed and created these relationships over many clients that we've helped and years of working together. So I wanted to give that shout out for the people that are not here with our power team. So Leslie, how do you prep your new buyer clients for what they're about to experience in this hectic seller market, which is not going to get, it's slowing down a bit, but it is not going to go away. We are not going to get to a balanced market. So this is a conversation that we're going to be having for a very long time. So how are you supporting them there, Leslie?
Yeah, you make a valid point. There's really not just 2 types of markets. It changes on a daily basis, and you definitely need to educate. And I love that you and I align in that because we make a good team at that. So definitely our first and foremost priority is to make sure our buyer is confident in their buying ability. They know what they can afford. This means everything from knowing what their credit score does for them to what their ceiling would be from an investment standpoint. All of our buyers go through an initial buyer counseling session with me before we ever even look at properties. I want them to be very aware of what the process is and what needs to happen when we get actually into a situation.
Yes. So yeah, there's 3 things that come into play with real estate. You have the actual property in your seller, you have the need, which is the buyers, and then you have the money. And the problem is we have tons of buyers, we have tons of money, nothing's happening with the ability to finance. It's the inventory and those sellers that are missed. So Leslie, do you discuss, or I know you do, but with the potential of these multiple offers situations with your buyers?
Oh yeah, I think that's definitely something that needs to be discussed. We have different strategies for different situations in different parts of town, and we're seeing, different markets all over the city. And buyers can be a bit anxious about purchasing a property in this market, and we need to have a game plan specific to the exact location of where they're looking to purchase. Buyers need to, I kind of tell them, they need to visualize themselves as an offer laying on a table with 9 other offers during an offer review. And if you can visualize that, you need to decide what would make someone choose to pick your offer up. How do you make yourself different?
Yeah. And when I introduced Leslie, I gave a shout out on her certification in negotiation because that is an absolute must. Just as with Tania and with Nathan and myself, you have to have an expert. You have to have somebody that knows how to negotiate, knows how to coach you through the process in what it's looking like in these multiple offers. And when Leslie puts her seller hat on, you have to work with an expert that's going to be able to help you maximize and navigate through the multiple offers that are coming in. So critically important. So Tania, before I take us to break, I'd like to ask you, how do you get the best deal on insurance for people?
Thank you. Second most common question I receive. I wanted to make sure we address that today. It truly is hiring a professional. In the insurance realm, licensing is required. And it's shocking how many self-service companies exist nowadays that don't require licensing of the representatives that you're talking with.
Wow.
You can play rep roulette when you have a question or have a claim. The accountability needs to lie with a licensed professional. Nothing beats that industry knowledge. So quickly put, you can save money with stripped down coverage, but you're truly gambling with your livelihood. I'm here to tell you that I've seen people financially crippled by ignoring their insurance policies and allowing those gaps to open over time. So the best thing you can do is take control, not by taking time out of your own day, but hiring a professional to do that proactive work for you, but also hold your hand along the way through the claims process when something does go wrong, to advocate for you and not just give advice on the front end. Key thing you mentioned was the recent credit ban. That is the most upsetting event we've had in the insurance industry since the financial meltdown of 2008. I've experienced both in my 13 years. We've seen rate swing plus or minus 60%. So if your insurance company didn't contact you proactively ahead of time, knowing that that was coming to take action, you might want to take a look at who you're working with.
Yeah. And with that, just not even being able to make up their mind and how they're going to do this, coming in and backing out. And I like how you mentioned, Tanya, the importance of having an advocate on your side, and being, again, a broker. Tanya does not work for these companies she's placing your insurance. She represents you, whereas you're working with somebody that directly works for a company. Might be a little bit different in that scenario when big claims come up. Tanya is going to go to bat, has done many times for her clients, and fighting to make sure that you're getting what you should be getting and deserving to getting. A whole nother show. And I'd love to have a conversation and bring you in, Tanya, on this, and, how much people really lose in that process when they don't have somebody on their side for them in navigating that. So thank you for that, Tanya. All right, coming up next on the Money Hour, continued conversation with my amazing panel, Leslie McFadden of Leslie McFadden Real Estate, strategies and negotiation tips when buying in this current market, Tania McLaughlin of McLaughlin and Associates American Family Insurance, insure carefully and dream fearlessly, and Nathan Kelly of PureClean Carpet Cleaning and PureDry Restoration. When disaster strikes, we've got your back, right here on 1150 AM KKNW. You are listening to the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, April 30th show. You can also listen to my show podcast, Facebook premiere, or you can catch my show on my show YouTube channel. In addition, for more information on my upcoming events, you can go to tinamitchellevents.com. I am your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. I am here to help you build a strong financial blueprint, 1 week and one show at a time. If you are hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. I'm here to answer any questions or to connect you with the 3 guests that I have on the show today. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com. And now in studio, continued panel conversation with Leslie McFadden of Leslie McFadden Real Estate, strategies and negotiation tips when buying in the current market. Tania McLaughlin of McLaughlin and Associates American Family Insurance, insure carefully, dream fearlessly. And Nathan Kelly of PureClean Carpet Cleaning and PureDry Restoration. When disaster strikes, we have your back, right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Today's show is about the power of having a strong power team on your side, working together to support you so that it's a win-win. And so we've talked about a lot so far on the show about the importance of power team, a little bit about each of your businesses and how you're helping your individual clients right here in our community. Nathan, you talk about winning for your clients and business partners. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, that's kind of a fun thing for me to talk about. Even as much as I love talking about cleaning up sewage and drying out homes and stuff.
And we've seen some pictures of that, haven't we, Nathan?
I do
not have boring networking groups. No.
I certainly love being invited to breakfast meetings because I have one particular sewage presentation that I bring to all of those. But since we're on radio, it's harder to get excited about that. So
Nathan, I didn't tell my listeners in the introduction that you have quite the sense of humor.
Yes, we love him.
Go ahead, Nathan.
I love laughing at myself, and it helps when other people aren't laughing. It kind of fills in the silence. So if you spend any time with me, you might get a little annoyed that I love to talk about winning. And of course, I love to win, right? And that's going to happen regardless. But gosh darn it, how many people can I bring along with me? That's our team's philosophy too. We're going to win no matter what. That's going to happen. Or why would we even get out of bed? But if there is a way for us to raise all the tides so all the boats are at a higher level, why wouldn't we? Not only does it not do any kind of disservice to us to have other people winning, when life's better, that means life is better.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to get me all fired up to talk about this kind of stuff. Even people who say that they've pulled themselves up by their own bootstraps, they've benefited from other people. We're not doing this whole life stuff by ourselves, right? And we're grateful that that's the way the world works, because the more we find ways for our friends and partners to win, the more we benefit from that too. We are firm believers that our rapid growth over the last few years has been because of that mindset, because of that attitude, and finding ways to put that into practice is what really gets me excited.
Yeah, and if you go into the company shop, I mean, you can just feel, actually, I'm just getting goosebumps saying it right now, because just putting myself back in your space, the shop is unbelievable. And you can just see all of the inspiration and the motivation and the excitement for how they're making a difference in the community. And Nathan took me around and introduced me to everybody that was there, 2 floors of people in the support, people out in the field running those trucks. And each and every one of them had such an authentic smile and generosity of appreciation for the introduction. And I'm sure each one of them were very, very busy. And, Nathan talks about, wins, and might get tired of hearing him talk about the wins. And definitely, I don't think anybody does, Nathan. And if you're not working with individual business professionals like each of us are in our own industry that do not have a win-win mindset, win for ourselves, only then can we win for our clients. And so you have to have a fighting spirit to be in the top in the industry, which each and every one of us are. And that's why we're power partners. That's why we provide power service. And that's why our clients, our communities, win-win by working with each one of us. So I've never actually promoted myself as much as I am here, because I'm part of your tower in this show. I promote myself because I'm part of your power team. This is just so much. This is so much fun. I think this was Leslie's idea, right?
It was my idea, and I have to tell you, I just love. I met Tania and Nathan both through the Woodinville Chamber, and it was because we all have that same mindset, like, let's find business for you. And then that naturally brings business to us. And I can't imagine a more fun way of doing business. I mean, let's have fun. I mean, we all have jobs. We all enjoy what we do, but let's have fun while we do it.
Yeah, we definitely do. We do a lot of that. Leslie and I have some really crazy fun stories.
Yeah, we do.
All right. That's another show too. Leslie, so what you mentioned earlier about the buyer counseling session, what is that? And can you share a little bit more about what that looks like?
Yeah, it's amazing to me that a lot of people don't realize this idea, but I think every realtor should. So it's a 1-hour meeting focused solely on getting ready to buy and what to expect. It's my way of kind of working the kinks out on the front end. I start with a professional introduction of myself, because they may or may not know much about me. And so I like to have that casual conversation just on a couch, and it makes my client, my future client, very comfortable and conversational. And I learned so much about them during that time. And then we review all of the different costs that are associated with a purchase. And even with owning your own home, a lot of people don't understand the maintenance that goes behind owning your own home. We discuss where we are in the pre-approval process and the importance of knowing your buying power. We discuss homeowners insurance. Some people haven't even thought about that and the importance of it, and when you actually have to get it during the process of purchasing a house. We discuss the importance of maintenance on your property. I mean, they know that I have a great relationship with Nathan and Tania, but that's not always the most fun phone call to make if you're in the middle of a crisis. So I like to talk about that up front so that's not something that's overwhelming. We then finish up with what I am seeing in the current market and what their wants and needs are, a timeline, and then I answer any questions that they may have. And I like that just to last no more than an hour so that it's not overwhelming, but that person leaves feeling so powerful and educated and ready to purchase a property.
And I like how you mentioned the couch, because most real estate companies and offices, you've got a conference room, you go into a big conference table, and really being able to communicate. And why is it important for us to connect with the people that we're trying to support? It's because with connection is where magic happens. And so their conference room, really, it's a couch and a really warm space where it's a conversation space. Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very comfortable and welcoming.
It's very comfortable and welcoming, and so is Leslie. Leslie, what are your next steps after the buyer counseling session?
So depending on where they are in the pre-approval process, we firm that up with you, try to make that connection and make sure that's all firmed up. And then we meet a second time to familiarize what the buyer's offer would actually look like. When you start looking at properties, you'll probably find one. And I don't want that to be the first time you've actually seen a purchase and sale agreement. I want you to have reviewed it already and you know what addendums I'm going to be referencing when I'm giving you advice on how to write an offer. So that second time is very important. And it, I've already gotten all of the nerves out of the way with the buyer counseling session. And so I can have a more strategic read through this legal jumbo, and let's talk about if you have any questions, or what does it mean? What does this, contingency mean versus this one? And I just really want the buyers to have more confidence, because I find if they're confident and educated, they make better decisions.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Leslie. So, Tania, I know you pretty much do it all, but will you share with my listeners what you and your team of insurance agents, the products that you offer?
Thank you. Yes, and I know you're very familiar with what we offer, but you would be surprised how often I run into people who think, hey, insurance agents mostly do auto and home, and that's it. And if I have anything special going on, I've got to talk to multiple insurance companies. And thankfully, that's not the case with McLaughlin and Associates. So my team and I, yes, we all have licensing, but the products we have are auto, which is a category. So that's cycle, boat, motorhome, snowmobile, all your toys. Home, which really means any property. So renters, condo, townhome, manufactured homes, rental homes, Airbnbs, very popular. Also businesses. So that can include farm, business operations, the business auto, commercial buildings, life insurance, which includes pet health. That's another popular one we have. And finally, special requirements like flood, new construction, vacant or properties being rehabbed. We even partner with select outside companies like Progressive, The General, Foremost, and more to ensure that we're truly a one-stop shop. That is some work that I've put in for my customers based on their needs, and even added out-of-state licensing based on our customers as they grow and achieve their dreams, what they're needing. So the ultimate goal talking to us is that you have everything under one roof, that you're getting the most discounts you can possibly have, and it guarantees that there's no gaps or overlap in your coverage because we have your whole portfolio in one spot and you're letting us do the work for you.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier today, Tania stepped in and saved on a property that other insurance companies would not give the insurance that was required to get the actual loan. So importance of working with a one-stop company like Tania. So Nathan, can you provide some specifics on the importance of working with a team, which is what this show is all about today?
Yeah, well, of course. And let's talk about Leslie and Tania specifically. I hope they don't mind.
You don't mind at all.
Let's say specifically that Leslie and her clients have a house or a home that they want to put on the market. I'm sure that they're all quite familiar with the fact that how a home shows can make or break a sale. Even in this aggressive, or in my terms, not Leslie's, nutty market. If floors are worn, carpets are stained, if the house smells like wet pets or other horrible things, you know, these issues can negatively affect impression, price, you know, people's willingness to buy. If there's water damage, if there's mold, if there's other funkiness around, you know, that can affect things too. And Leslie knows that she can call us and we'll fix it. She knows that she and her clients have priority scheduling. They get discounted services because of the relationship that she's already put in place. Okay. Tania knows that she can call us anytime, day or night, whether it's 2 a.m. Christmas Day, one of us will answer the phone. We're going to drop what we're doing to see her clients. So not only will we go out there, but we'll complete a high-tech property inspection using all of our fancy gadgets, right, to determine full scope of work, cause of loss. We do that for free for her clients so that we can have a conversation with her and her team about whether, you know, filing a claim is even necessary. We don't want to we want to do what we can to help her clients not have to speak to a carrier if they don't need to, right? If there's no reason to have that conversation, let's figure that out beforehand behind the scenes. Okay, not only does this avoid unnecessary claims, but it helps Tania's clients see that they are in the right hands, that she's thought about this before. She's thought about it and cares enough to have a team in place on standby. And if something were to happen, trying to figure out who to call in the middle of it is not the right time. So both Tania and Leslie have a team in place on standby, ready to help whenever necessary. And these are the kind of relationships I'm talking about that help all of us win together.
Yeah, and another huge benefit of the team, because when you're supporting each other, there's a business that's getting circled around. So you have more of the financial resources as a company to be investing in those power partners. Great conversation in my panel conversation today. Coming up next in the Money Hour, continued panel conversation with Leslie McFadden of Leslie McFadden Real Estate Strategies and Negotiation Tips when buying in this current market. Tania McLaughlin of McLaughlin and Associates American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. And Nathan Kelly of PureClean Carpet Cleaning and PureDry Restoration. When disaster strikes, we've got your back. Right here on 1150 AM KKNW. You are listening to the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, April 30th show. You can also listen to my podcast, Facebook premiere, or you can catch my show on my Shore YouTube channel. In addition, for more information on upcoming events, you can go to TinaMitchellEvents.com. I am your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. I bring into studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything that has to do with your money. Now in studio, continued conversation with my panel conversation, Leslie McFadden of Leslie McFadden Real Estate Strategies and Negotiation Tips when buying in this current market. Tania McLaughlin of McLaughlin and Associates American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. And Nathan Kelly of PureClean Carpet Cleaning and PureDry Restoration. When disaster strikes, we have your back. Right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Again, it's a special show. Today's show is about power, the power of having a strong power team for you, so you can get the best support. And as a client, it's a win-win. So we've again covered a lot of great information here. And Leslie, I'd like to transition back to you. You and I come from an approach that's common, and educating the buyer is for a confident buyer. What other ways do you make sure that your buyers are ready to go?
This is one of my favorite parts of my job. I like to teach our buyers how to actually look at a property, how to go on a showing and view the property. Obviously, when you first enter a property, you have to let the emotion be front and center, because that's really your first deciding factor. How does that house make you feel? I mean, unless you're an investor, I'm talking about owner occupied. So how does that house make you feel? What do you actually like about the property? Is there anything you don't like about the property? So I try to promote massive conversation while we're standing in a property so that we can make the most of that showing. Are there any possible objections? Do we see any insurability issues? Tanya has taught me how to look for those. Any deferred maintenance? Nathan has told me many, many things to look for when I'm looking at a property. That's the power of the partnerships. And if after all of that, it's determined that we would like to make an offer on the subject property, then I'd like to stop and start over. I encourage we take a second look right now. Like, let's do our second showing right now. Let's go back outside, start this over. Now you're educated. Now let's look at it differently. Sometimes we don't have the opportunity to have a second showing. I mean, with the offer review dates, we definitely have a little bit more time, but a lot of sellers are feeling pressured to accept offers earlier. So sometimes we don't actually have that time. So I like to do a second showing while we're still there. I'm looking for things like water pressure. Let's turn on all the faucets. Let's turn on the shower. Water pressure is very important to your daily life. Ceilings, are there any cracks? Are there any settling? Quality of construction is a huge thing that I talk about because there's not just one home builder in the world, there are many, and they all have different varied levels of quality. So these are just a few things that I talk about while we're showing, and I like to educate my buyer on how to actually look at a property.
Yeah. And again, the expertise and the importance of having that expertise and having the power team where you're not an expert in a space, but you have the team that are setting you up, that what you need to know because you're that front person and that first person. Because the worst thing that can happen, and I see this happen all the time when I'm working with an agent that's not part of my power team, buyer comes in, a client that I've worked with before, or has referred to me, been introduced to me by a past client, where nightmares come in later in the process. And that is a really bad situation to be in, especially when you might be going in and waiving financing and earnest money. Leslie really sets you up front to make sure not just one time that you understand and are educated about the property, but if the opportunity presents itself, to be able to do that a second time to make sure that you completely understand what this home has to offer and what it might be looking like for you in future repairs in the future. Again, the importance of the expertise and the importance of having a power team that each have their own level of expertise. Tanya, you work for, as I have said on the show, American Family Insurance, correct?
Common misconception. When you hear the word insurance agent, yeah, people think that you work for that corporation, you're their W-2 employee, and don't get me wrong, that's out there in bulk. But that's not what I do. That's another way that I'm different, that I own my own insurance agency, McLaughlin and Associates. And I have chosen to partner with American Family Insurance specifically because of their products and their great track record. I've even been behind the corporate veil. I've seen all aspects of the company and they're amazing. When it comes down to it, though, I ultimately work for my customers and my team, and I know that. We make our business decisions and what we offer, what we do, and how we do it based on customer feedback exclusively. So one thing I've run into inside your insurance premium, like, yes, you're going to eventually get a claim check based on that premium, but there are so many other resources inside of that. Part of that is the work I do for you, but also coming claim time when people say, hey, this has gone wrong, they'll be contacted by attorneys because they can see those claims reports. That's public record. And that's one thing I notice all the time is people pay extra money for an attorney when they're going through the insurance claim process, when you can leverage that money you've been paying inside your insurance premium to have the company handle it. And also my team and my licensed agency advocate for you. So let those resources do the work for you.
Yeah, and I love that word, advocate for you. And I know it's a big part of your vision and the mission for your agency and what you're doing for your clients. And key takeaway, Tanya works for you. She does not work for the insurance company. Critically important, right. And sets her aside from some of the agents that work directly for an actual company. Nathan, you shared that your company core values. Can you share a little bit more on those and the importance behind them?
Yeah, I mean, core values are, not only do they provide a solid foundation from which to operate, but they kind of act like bumpers or guardrails to help kind of keep you headed in the right direction. I mean, not only here in PureDry and PureClean have our core values listed, but we review them at every single team meeting. So being reminded that we're focused on integrity, respect, accountability, leadership, attitude, teamwork, and service, I think are all of them, that helps us operate the right way. I mean, let's be honest, it's human nature. We're tempted to take shortcuts, especially, we're tired. We're not dealing with fun stuff. We're dealing with poo and mold and all kinds of gross stuff like that. So we're tempted to take shortcuts just to be comfortable again, right? Human nature is to be comfortable. And there's a whole lot of people that's their ultimate goal, is just to be comfortable. When you get comfortable being uncomfortable, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
I can keep going forever and ever. But when you have a person, or you have a team, or gosh, even a community that focuses with the same goals in mind, and if we're all willing to help each other win together, you're unstoppable.
Yes. Yeah. Well said, Nathan. We've got less than 2 minutes to wrap up the show. Leslie, quickly, I love that you used the word strategy along with negotiation. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think anything in your life that affects your investments needs a strategic plan. So that's why I use the word strategy. As you mentioned, I'm certified in negotiation. And I find that when we educate our buyers on how to strategize along with us, they are set up for success. I believe that you have to be very strategic when you're maximizing your buying power. Listing agents out there have all sorts of different strategies when it comes to list pricing, a lot of them underpriced just to create multiple offer situations. So whenever I have a buyer who's interested in a property, I do an analysis on my own. As if I was listing that property, I tell them what I think it's worth. And then that gives us kind of a starting point as far as bidding. And I just believe the specific strategies that you use depend on the market conditions that you're presented with. So that's even more important, that on a case-by-case basis, I let them know what I think the property is worth and what it'll appraise for.
Yeah, I got to wrap up the show. 30 seconds, Tanya. This is all about team and power team. What does Leslie and Nathan mean to you in that?
We touched on the circular workflow, but really people come to us heart in hand. What do I do next? We are those rocks for people. We have got a level of excellence across the three of us where we've done this before. We know what to do next, and we know how to do it better than the rest of the people in our industry. We didn't touch on how Leslie will help you remodel your home before you go to list it.
That's a whole other
budget. Nathan will come in proactively and give you that personal property inventory that you can virtually hand to the insurance adjuster to make sure you get the right claim check. We're really doing things at a higher level, and that's why we're amazing together.
Well answered, and great way to end our show. And that's it. If you want to talk with my panel, please give the show a call at 1-855-400-1150. You can go online to themoneyr.com and I'll connect you with them. Tina Mitchell, your host and local mortgage expert. I got to sign off for the day, but I will be here same time, same place next weekend to chat more about money right here on 1150 AM KKNW.